TF2, 577 updates and counting. A lot of content in those nearly 600 updates. There have been a lot of changes and additions in nearly a decade since T-Fortress 2's release. Some big, some small, but who cares about the small ones? We're gonna look at the top 10 most important additions and changes TF2 has ever gotten. But of course, important is subjective, so this does mainly go off my opinion. I don't know, you might think making the hot dogger all class was the greatest change ever, but I don't. Make your own video about the hot dogger then. Anyway, number 10. Payload is pretty iconic in TF2, but it wasn't always there. The first Payload map was added in the first major update TF2 ever got way back in February 2008. And I'm not sure what else to say here. I know Payload. You know Payload. I guess this spot could have been given to any new maps in any new game mode, but I picked Payload because I like Payload. Okay? Jeez, get off my back. Alright, so competitive matchmaking and the whole Meet Your Match updates launch was, not ideal. It was pretty rough, and even at the time of recording this, all of the kinks of that update have not been worked out. But it's out. It's finally out. I remember people talking about matchmaking coming out for years. TF2 is a game from another era where playing games competitively was not such a big thing. And it is about time it caught up. Casual mode is still a little bit messed up, but as a whole, having matchmaking is going to be better for everybody in the long run. People who want to play the game more seriously can do that easily, and people who play just for fun still have a way to rank up. Man vs. Machine took the whole adding game modes to a new level. It drastically changes the way Team Fortress is played. And for what it's worth, it did also finally move the plot forward in the TF2 comics and storyline. But this update was a huge thing. MVM was being teased nearly 2 years before it actually came out. Unfortunately, it seems that Man vs. Machine has gone the way of medieval mode and territorial control, not being updated in years despite all of the effort put into it. But hopefully we can see some new Valve or community-made maps and missions in the near future. Whether you actually play the game or spend all of your time trading in a Minecraft trade server, and whether or not you think those people who only trade are weirdos. What a bunch of weirdos, right guys? Nah, but trading is a big thing in TF2, and it was introduced quite a while after unlockable weapons and hats. Before that, you were just stuck with what you had. The Mann store was introduced at the same time as trading, allowing you to purchase items with real-world money. What a concept. Just $100 for a virtual ring? I'd be stupid not to buy it. Being able to trade for or buy any item you want is a big reason why people still play this game. Want that virtual $13 beard to make up for your lack of beards in real life? Well, the Man store has got your back, you facial hairless man baby. Where would TF2 be without its community contributors? Well, there would be a distinct lack of hats. There's well over 1,000 cosmetic items in-game, most of which were made by you! Well, probably not you specifically, but various contributors who make cosmetics, weapons, new animations, maps, you name it. Really, they're doing Valve's work for them. They started accepting community items pretty early on, and we've gotten a lot more content because of it. Engineering can be a thankless job, in real life and in Team Fortress. They're probably equally as important. But being an engineer means you solve problems. Not problems like how to pick up your own buildings. No, wait. Exactly like that. Originally, engineer lacked the ability to move his buildings. Meaning if you didn't like where you placed your sentry, you'd have to demolish it and start again. Bad news for those of you with OCD. No, wait, just a little more to the left. Oh, this is all wrong. But now you're free to move your buildings anywhere you want. And that's a pretty major buff to the engineer. But there was a time when only your sentry was upgradable. That's right, your dispenser and teleporters could never go past level 1. Truly the dark ages of engineering. However, the technology of whacking things with a wrench has improved dramatically over only a few years. Now everything can be leveled up to level 3. Imagine, if you will, a Phlogistinator. But this Phlogistinator lacks all stats other than no Airblast. And ta-da, you've got yourself a launch date Pyro, more or less. The Pyro was the second class to be given a class update, and in that update, Airblast. And from then on, Pyro as we knew it was forever changed. Instead of WM1 being pretty much the only way of playing Pyro, you can now knock people around with compressed air. Instead of being powerless to the projectiles of soldiers and demomen, you can now blast those projectiles right back in their faces. And regardless of what you think of the Pyro today, I think most of us can agree that Airblast helped turn the Pyro from a relatively pointless class counted by everything other than the spy to a class that can be a real threat. Now, soldiers and demos need to think twice before they start spamming explosives, and Uber charges have a potential counter. Airblast was a massive change not only to how Pyro plays, but to how every class reacts to fighting one. In June of 2011, we got the Uber update, which was a kind of a mixed bag in terms of the content it added. But at the end, we all found out that TF2 would be free to play from then on. Did you buy the game new for $20 back in 2007? Why didn't you just wait 4 whole years and play it for free? Pretty stupid, right? And at this point, I have to assume a sizable majority of the active player base started on a free account. It was a pretty bold move on Valve's part, but I think it paid off massively. This brought a ton of attention back to the game and brought in thousands upon thousands of new players. You can try the game for free at no charge, and you're not really put at any real disadvantage. There are no game-changing items only available to players who pay. I had the game for some time before it became free to play, and I recall some concern of what this would do to the game and its community, but I think it pretty much worked out in the end. What would TF2 be without weapon unlocks? Well, a whole lot less fun, I guess. If you're anything like me, you've played every class with every possible combination of weapons, no matter how bad they pair together or how mediocre the individual weapon. It's a big part of what keeps the game fun. Weapons like the Charge and Targe, Gunslinger, and the Huntsman massively change the way the class is played. And even if some weapons are clearly better than others, there are no direct upgrades. Well, there's one. The Third Degree. The Third Degree is a loose cannon who plays by its own rules. And I don't mean like the loose cannon like the weapon, I mean like the loose cannon. And while getting new weapons would be great, one of the best things you could get is seeing a weapon that's been garbage for half a decade suddenly be fun and useful. I mean, hey, rebalancing old weapons and occasionally throwing in some new ones are gonna keep the game fresh for another 9 years. What did you expect to be number 1? Something that affected gameplay? Huh! When hats were first added in 2009, they took the world by storm. Any schmuck could wear a hat in real life, but it takes true skill to wear one in a game. When hats were first introduced, there were just 9, and they were super rare drops. You couldn't craft them, you couldn't buy them, and if you were lucky enough to get one, you couldn't trade it. So how could this be the most important addition to TF2? Well, think about it. Hats are probably the biggest reason TF2 is still being updated nearly a decade after its release. Hats were probably a big factor for introducing trading, the Manco store, and accepting community items. It's made Valve boatload after boatload of money. And, well, when a game makes money, they're gonna keep updating it. They're gonna try to keep you playing. Most of us probably have some investment or connection to the cosmetics we own. Sure, some are stupid and ugly and don't fit the theme, but customizing your character is just fun. It's fun. What more is there to it? What more does there need to be? It makes Valve money, it makes the contributors money, and it's a big part of what keeps the game updated. Hats. The greatest invention of mankind.